Kyle, I got the Davenport statistics, man.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead and share. Get started with our guest speaker today. We got Justin Ellingson. Most of us know Justin. He's been here for 13 years. He's got a beautiful family, 4 kids, beautiful wife, Cammie. He lives up in Minnesota, right north of the Twin Cities. So this is going to be a pretty short intro, but it's powerful. I'm just going to say this, guys. Justin Ellingson is breaking every record in the history of family heritage. And by the end of this year, his agency will have produced more business than any other agency in the history of family heritage. They're going to do over $20 million worth of premium this year. And just to kind of put that in perspective, if you combine the Schneider agency and the Davenport agency, you know, we're probably going to do close to $4 million. Davenport's probably going to do close to $3 million worth of sales. They're going to triple that if you combine our 2 agencies. Just what Transparent is going to do. So that's power. I love Justin. He leads from the front. He just outworks people, outtrains, outsells, and everything that he does and he teaches on is so simple, but it's very duplicatable. And you guys will see next week when the Trade More, next week's the Trade More week, when the good news flyers come out every single morning, it's going to be like all the other agencies, and Transparent is going to have like 5 or 6 times more production than most everybody. It's almost like, video game numbers. But today it's one of my favorite parts, and he's going to be speaking on the phases of the career, thinking big and long-term while setting yourself up right now. So guys, get a pen and paper, take lots of notes today. We got the one, the only Justin Ellingson.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm excited to be here, and Zoom is what a lot of people do. So I'm impressed with the amount of people that are muted, because the reason why I like old school conference calls is it's a lot easier just to mute people, and you don't have to deal with that or see people in their pajamas. But you guys are raising the bar, so well done. This part I'm really excited to talk about. So the phase of the career, I think in this business, we think too small and we think too short term, where of course we need to be successful and make money right away. But I want people to really understand that you need to be telling yourself and thinking through what phase are you in, but you also need to be having career conversations and helping people realize what you're building. You need to make that part of your story in what you're building. So making sure that you realize that different phases in the career, you get to choose to speed those up or slow those down or go backwards. You get to choose to speed those up, slow those down, or go backwards. So phase 1 of your career is just learning to work with every different type of business. I'll hammer home on, Kyle and Van. I let them know that, you can't grow your business the way that we are if you guys are only stuck on your EMFs and your certain niches, because you don't know how to sell to anyone, anywhere, anytime. That is something that just has to be done. In phase 1, you learn how to get good at connecting with names in proximity. And it doesn't matter if it's Joe's mechanic shop, that's one person, or a construction company or school, or it doesn't matter. It's just any business. And you work in phase 1, you know how to work your territory like an oil spill, right? You don't go from here to there, to here, to there, to here. You know how to work your territory systematically. And it seems so simple, but what you don't understand is the fundamentals and the small things are what lead to big results. Like when you ask, when people are like, what's Dylan doing? Or what's that? Everyone's let down when it's all the little things right. But it's all the common ingredients that make the secret sauce. You want to know what is the secret sauce? And it's going through every single one of these, but it's doing it at an expert level. So phase 1, to be extremely effective, it's writing out 25 businesses that you're prepped each day before you even get to the field. And if you're really a master, like you guys want to know about Cajun, who's finally going to break Van's record, Cajun Lob, the first year record all time. Well, he already loads up his 25 businesses in the CRM. And he doesn't make excuses that his manager didn't teach him, because guess what? Cajun's using it more effective than Dylan is. So never use that excuse of my manager didn't do something or this and do. I know for a fact, based on what Kyle and Van have put together, you have every tool to be successful. And if those guys can be millionaires, why not you? It just doesn't make any sense. So the only reason why you're not going to be a millionaire is you got to make sure that you point the finger at yourself. Okay. So we're walking through the phases of the career. And the beautiful thing in this business is you can screw up so much and be so successful. You got to take all that pressure off yourself. So in the phase one of your career, you learn to get so damn good, it's not even fair. Like you get to a point, if you're doing this right, if you're not cherry picking businesses, you get to a point, it's not even fair. You literally can drop me out of an airplane and I'm going to go out and make 10 grand that week, just like that. And it doesn't matter if you can drop me out of an airplane in any one of your damn territories too. North Carolina, South Carolina, I don't care where it is. I will go right now and write 20 grand in your backyard or wherever your honey hole is. Because I know that you're going to be skipping around businesses and not doing it the right way, or there's going to be so much opportunity because we think in abundance instead of scarcity. The biggest thing I see every single day on my whiteboard is abundance, abundance, abundance. I don't think in any terms of scarcity. I don't care if you worked there last week, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that didn't get protected. Oh, someone was in my territory. Are you serious right now? Like, it's such a, here's the one thing to help you think big versus small. Think of all the people last week or the week before that should have bought from you, but didn't. Well, guess what? When a new person works there with a great attitude, those are just people that are going to buy from somebody else. It's like, you never have to have a scarcity mindset. We continue to work right over top of each other, and it's not a big deal because we believe in protected people and not on the board or gap, because I like to make fun of people, and that's what they're focused on, because they're just focused on doing the right thing. So phase two of your career. So that's phase one. And don't think you get to skip steps in this career because you can't. It's just like building blocks to be able to set yourself up. So some of you just need to roll up your sleeves and get back to the basics. And the back to the basic checklist is always the right place to go. I just covered that with my crew on Monday. Every single quarter we cover it because, if you're not where you want to be with your goals, it's because you've gotten away from the fundamentals and you've gotten too cute. So phase two is just getting really good at setting up enrollments on the spot, not setting them up for weeks or months from now, but setting them up on the spot, and you just catch them one by one. And if they like it, they get it. If they don't, no big deal. But at least they had the chance to put something in place, right? So you learn how to build the need and the sense of urgency with the decision maker that you need to get in front of them right now. Because we never know when something like this is going to happen, right? With a group of 20 people on your staff, it's not a matter of if, but when something happens. And you make sure they feel it, that you help them understand that you say, my job is not to sell everybody. My job is simply to give them a chance to put a backup plan in place. What they choose to do with that's completely on their own. So what it's like working with us is we work for you, right? Especially if you're going against a competitor, which is no big deal. You learn how to handle those objections. When they say they have Aflac, you go, yeah, most people have a smaller supplemental company like that averages about 20% participation. We work really well alongside them. No big deal. So, because are you tired of them working for you where you have to do all their billing, claims, paperwork, or we work for you and you don't have to do anything? It begins and ends with here's an option. What they choose to do with it's completely up to them. But we want to make sure that they have the best benefit possible, because people say, a lot of their employees are kind of like their family. especially if they've had their own business before. And this is where you really need to change your thinking. I see it way too often. You need to change your thinking from dropping GAP or just set up this enrollment to viewing them as accounts that you're going to work with forever. When you view them as accounts that you're going to work with forever, and more importantly, you're going to become part of their benefit package. Okay. So what that looks like is you're going to be part of their onboarding package. When you set it up correctly and you're professional because you've mastered phase one of your career and you master handling objections, you help them understand that other benefits, when a new employee starts, the other benefits have to wait 30 to 60 to 90 days to kick in. Well, since we're now going to be a part of your onboarding package, the moment you have a new hire come in, you can just give me a call and I can swing by and they can have benefits immediately with us. See how that changes where the career looks like for you if you're doing it the right way and working with accounts and developing relationships and working with quality businesses versus just slash and burning and signing somebody up at a vape shop that's for sure going to cancel. So phase two of your career, you get really good at referrals from buyers and non-buyers, for business owners and individuals. It's not one or the other. And you learn how to handle objections when they say, I can't think of anybody, or I don't know. And you go, yeah, hey, no big deal, Kyle, just grab your phone. Pull it, like, seriously, pull out your phone. And now you have 100 contacts in there. Just write down 3. And like, it's a fun game for you. And they're like, are you serious? You're like, yeah, like that's how I work. It's based off referrals. Like, man, football's going on right now. If you're going to have a barbecue, if you're going to have some people over, who you inviting over? Worst thing they can do is tell me no. Then I just go cry in my car. It's not a big deal. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Just write them down. And you got to be able to say, it couldn't hurt. It couldn't hurt. You know, I'd hate for something to happen to someone and they didn't at least get a chance to hear about it. You get really good at referrals from the, business owners to other business owners, or individuals to other individuals, or, you got to be able to set them up. Who cuts your hair? Who works on your car? Just give them some stuff. Who your kids hang out with? You got to throw them some softballs. And then they get going. Then it's a fun game. You're like, they got 5. You're like, cool. You only got 20 more to go. I know you think I'm kidding, but the best I've ever gotten was like 300. So I got time. And then you have fun with people, right? Because you want to be able to connect those dots and working with accounts and working with, kind of cliques of people and how they roll together. Part of phase 2 of the career is training other agents. It's fun to see how you guys call them the Schneider and the Davenport agency. You guys old company, Globe Lifers. You've grown a ton, and that's by training and developing people. So training other agents helps you move up the career track, but more importantly, the teacher learns more than the student. So when I first started, it was all residential, kind of like Kyle, and I knew I didn't want to do residential the rest of my life. So I recruited a friend of mine, Lindsay Leiter, who's Lindsay Sins. And she's like, yeah, I want to learn a new skill set and I want to be able to work with businesses. I'm like, perfect. We can do that. I wasn't doing that, but I sure as crap was going to figure out how to do it. So I flew her out to, see a different agent, and then got in the field with her and just acted like I knew what I was doing. And I was going to learn along the way. I was terrified of businesses, but I had to, she was new, so I had to pretend like I knew what I was doing. And the first one of the first demos I was in this business, I was like terrified, just like, oh, this is uncomfortable outside at a kitchen table. And she's taking like 3 pages of notes. And I'm like, guess it's not that different. All right, I'm gonna figure this thing out. Aaron Stolp was the first person that we trained to just do B2B 8 to 5, and didn't allow him to go to any residential doors because then it'd be comfortable for him to do that. And I trained him on our own B2B sales school. We just ran our own sales school together. We're like, hey, we're doing this. We're going to figure it out. So why I say that is because you need to train people that scare you, because you're going to learn a lot more. The reason why I can outsell almost every single agency owner out there, it would be pretty fun to see Kyle gets one side of the street, I get the other side, and see who can win. Is because, when I go ride with people on Train Mores, I just say, just go to somewhere that scares you. What's the business you skip that scares you? And those are the ones I want to go to, because I don't want to fear anything. When you adopt the mentality of you don't need to fear anything, right? The worst they can say is no, or you're just going to learn. Like, you don't know how to handle a situation. Well, you do. Because even if you don't know how to handle it, just go and do it how you, like what your gut tells you to do. You're going to screw up a bunch, but then that's what you don't do in the future. It's the only way you learn. Now, you don't learn by just someone telling you, right? Someone can tell you how to hold a golf club, where to hit the ball, but the real way you learn is by hitting the ball and getting better and practicing. So to get good at training, you need to be hyper focused on doing the job the right way and being uber duplicatable. And it just works all the time. It's amazing where you put someone where they work together and they do the job the right way, and it just works because you're not skipping around and you're not overthinking it. If you're truly passionate about helping people in service, you're going to do the job the right way. And you're not going to do any of your ninja tricks that you think are pretty cool, but they're actually holding you back. And then it's amazing how everything just seems to fall into place when you do that. Phase 2.5, added this one in. Phase 2.5 is you learn if you can sell, you can recruit. If you can sell, you can recruit. They're both the same. We simply find a need and fulfill a need. That's it. And this business becomes really fun when you find business partners to build with and dream with. You realize you can change someone's life with a policy, but you can change their family tree with a career here if they latch onto it. And it's super simple. You just got to know the needs analysis in recruiting. Culture is one of them. Corporate is the most toxic thing out there. It will suck the living soul out of you. And you see it with other friends of you are just a number. You are just one decision away from people just, the gossip and the backstabbing to get ahead, or kissing the boss's ass. It's just gross. That's what, most cultures are like out there, where this culture attracts people that want to get ahead, don't want to just get by. This culture attracts people that are willing to bet on themselves. And that's the people I want to surround myself with. And another need is an uncapped income. Again, there's no politics. It's results based. I don't care how long you've been here. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what your last name is, who your dad is. None of that matters. And the third one is retirement. And we already have 2 retirement programs. We have our residual income built in, and we have our stock. I don't know if you noticed, Globe Life stock up 106. Jumped up like $5 just yesterday. Because guess what? Interest rates are going up. How do we make money as an insurance company? Oh yeah, interest rates. So weird. We got to be in a spot where we don't have to be nervous about what the future is going to hold, because more money in the interest rates, more money in our $23 billion investment portfolio. That means more money we can give back to our clients and our agents. Pretty sweet. Impact. Helping people understand they're never going to know the impact they can make until they have their first big claim, until they truly help serve someone, or until you see somebody that's never been, now this is different for you guys. I'm up in Minnesota, but someone that's never been to the ocean before and they go on an incentive trip, and then you see them crying because it was the first time they've ever seen the ocean. That's when you see a real impact that you can make. The travel, other need, to be able to think of all the places we've been. Van remembers the Wrigley Field rooftop when we had that rented out for us at the Cubs game. That was pretty sweet. The Alamo Bowl, we got to be like high-fiving RG3 and the entire teammates down there. So there's just a lot of cool travel that we can do. And then the last one is just true long-term security. If you're paycheck to paycheck or you're living off of biweekly pay, you have short-term security. But you do not have long-term security. Someone can take that away from you just like that. You hear it all the time. Yeah, life was good. And then new management came in and new owner came in and boop, everything changed. Darius, we're going to need a hot mute. Phase 3 of the career, resurfacing and re-enrollments. So again, when you're thinking like accounts versus just dropped a bomb on there. And by the way, I think that's the silliest thing ever. It's not what we do. Think long-term on every call. Think that this could be a business I work with forever. This could be the business that I'm actually going back to their Christmas party every year. High-fiving people, having fun. Like that happens. It doesn't happen when you're dropping bombs and thinking they're just a GAP. I have agents that do that. They going back to Christmas parties for local businesses that they work with. You're going to get, you have the opportunity to freaking get paid on a policy that a client pays for every single month. So you have residual income from that, but you need to think in residual prospects as well. Because the average person changes jobs 7 times in their career. So what that means, when you do a good job in phase 3, you go back to every business every 6 months or every year, just depends on the turnover. And you're going to have a whole new prospect pool. And 75% of people are going to buy more insurance the second time around because they like you and they trust you when you get good at resurfacing. You get really good at business testimonial letters. So then you have other businesses that just drop like flies because you're like, yep, this is how I took care of them. And there's a handwritten note from them and their business logo. This is how I took care of them. This is how I took care of them. And then it's like, well, yeah, we totally should work with you. You do what you say you're going to do. Another part of phase 3 of the career that we never had before that's so cool is using the CRM to do Zoom reservice for clients that moved. Right? I used to do a train more and it'd be like, if we did a PPW week in the middle of nowhere, or we're going to go down to South Carolina or North Carolina and do a train more right in, Schneider and Davenport's backyard, we used to never be able to reservice them. We can now because of Zoom. So, and realize I never want, this is something that it's transparent. So, right, we're going to do 20 million this year. Our best persistency month was when we were on lockdown in COVID, when we had to do everything over Zoom. So what that tells me is we're missing a huge opportunity by not resurfacing and working those referrals and family and friends effectively. Now realize I never want to go back to those days where I'm only sitting in front of a computer. We're doing smile and dials and Zooms. I am a face-to-face old school kind of guy, but this needs to be sprinkled into what you're doing. You can literally look at your map and see somebody that now is in freaking California, Oregon. And if you're not talking to your clients, guess who is? Everybody else. Colonial, Aflac, this. And guess what? They're not reminding them about that return of premium. Shocking. They're not reminding them that their policy has a return of premium. So you're losing your policies on the books is because you're not doing a good job of taking care of clients. They're not customers. This is not a transaction. This is not a bomb. These are clients that we take care of and reservice. So then the business sticks like glue. So that way we're there to take care of them when stuff happens, but more. And then also you're able to build that residual income that's real. All right, I got to fly through this because all right, I'm going to go through the pitfalls of each phase. So we covered all the phases. Now here's the pitfalls that I see. Phase one is the pitfall of phase one is only selling to retail versus salary. That's a pitfall in phase one. If you are in the habit of going to trailer park businesses, vape shops, O'Reilly's, cell phones, sorry, you're not gonna, you shouldn't use those projections, all those cool numbers that we show about what your career can look like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, residuals. That's not based on going to those businesses, right? You need to be able to protect people and get good at, but you need to skill up. You need to be able to work with people that actually earn not only just hourly, but that are on salary. Number two is they don't study at night to master your craft or record yourself and analyze if you're actually, I hear all the time, oh yeah, I'm using the sales conversation the way it's written. And then you watch someone, you're like, nope, I don't know where all that other stuff came in, but we had too much fluff. Or as Van likes to say, it works so good, we stopped using it. So actually studying each night instead of being in front of mindless TV that will suck the life out of you. And when you don't do hard things, when you do hard things, life is easy. When you do easy things like come home, have dinner, and then just sit in front of the TV for 3 hours, life's going to be hard. Just how it works. Phase two, the pitfalls is you get stuck on a certain niche and only try to work in those niches. You lose your muscle on how to be able to just drop me out of an airplane and I'm going to go write 20K right now. Pitfalls of phase two is you're chasing referrals versus getting them when they get to your territory. I'm really good at referrals, but then you put so much pressure on the damn prospect because you're like, oh, I drove 15 minutes to this referral. Dang, they're not interested. What's going on? Now you're all thrown off because you knew you weren't supposed to be chasing the referral. And you got to drive back to the spot you're starting. Then your momentum's just ruined. Wait until you get there. If they're within 5 to 7 minutes, sure, go see them. If it's over that, wait till you get there. Phase two, people seem to overcomplicate training by teaching too much versus leading by example and showing the way. God, that word manager is just the worst. Listen, people came from a spot where they're managed. They want to be led. They want someone to show them how to do it, not have a boss or have a micromanager. So stop doing that. Phase 2.5, you wait until you're ready to recruit or have it down. Well, get someone else to help you. It's amazing how many people out there right now with the recessions that's coming are thinking about something else. You just need to have a conversation and then have your MD, your RD, or your AO help you with that. Or a friend quits, right? Some people get stuck or have a pitfall in phase 2.5 if they recruit because a friend quits and they were a wantrepreneur and not an entrepreneur. And they just needed a boss to tell them what to do. That's okay. Phase three of the career, some of the pitfalls is they just wait too long to go back because they didn't do a good job taking notes, or they can't remember the client, so they get scared and they just don't do it. It doesn't matter if you're perfect at it. You just have to be in front of your people. Because again, if you're not talking to them, just know that there's somebody else chirping in their ear. Aflac, Colonial, Fidelity, whatever, whoever, right? Or phase three, one of the big pitfalls is they oversell when they're actually resurfacing what they have versus just touching on a brochure. So when you go back to resurface, it's really simple. Hey, wanted to catch you for 3 reasons, Kyle. 1 is give you a quick refresher because most people remember they bought something, but not what it covers. 2 is we might owe you some money. And 3 is to show you what's new. Okay. That's it. Everyone complicates it. It's that easy. It's really that simple. So you show them the brochure, what they have, any questions, and then you need to make sure that you have the transition statement into what they don't. So if they have a cancer policy, you just help them have, so now you guys have the very best cancer policy. A lot of people are like, gosh, I guess what happens if something day-to-day happens? Or, if it's a flip of the coin, if it's not cancer, it gets you, it's usually what?
Heart disease.
Heart. Yep. So I guess, and then that's all the transition statement you need. You go, who's the closest person to you that's been through a heart attack or an accident? Boom. Then you do a demo. And all you need to be able to help them understand is you want to round out their coverage and fill in any gaps that they might have. It's that simple. Woo. That's what I got. That's what I got.
Wow. Woo. Thank you, JE. That was absolute fire. And holy smokes, 4 pages of notes over here. And guys, hopefully you guys took this, how simple, duplicatable what he just spoke. And yeah, that is exciting. Guys, it is, I know Justin runs his own team Zooms here pretty soon. This is 7 a.m. his time because he's in a different time zone than we are. But guys, just look at all the different phases and see where you are and circle a couple things that you know that you can work on. And the biggest thing is not what you know, it's what you use that you know. So making sure that you actually took the notes today and actually use things that's going to benefit you right now. And I would recommend rewatching this Zoom tonight. Is going to be put on our YouTube channel. Rewatch this tonight because there's so much content here. Hey, real quick, while we got Justin, is there one, maybe 2 questions from the audience, maybe on something, maybe clarifying something while we still have them? 1 or 2 questions from the audience, real quick.
Brad here. Number one, Justin, appreciate you, man, being on the call as always, sharing the knowledge. One thing that really stood out, well, there's lots of things that really stood out, but you had mentioned getting referrals from buyers and non-buyers. Can you just touch on that real quick? For a lot of folks, a lot of people don't understand that there's something out of anybody that you talk to, whether they buy or not.
Yeah, no, Brad, it's really important to clarify. So from non-buyers, because I made this mistake, I was like, I got referrals from non-buyers, and then I was like, well, they just send me other non-buyers. This is stupid. And that's not the case. When you get the referral from the non-buyer, you only use their name to get in, to get a sit down, and then you never bring it up again. Then you only bring up the clients we actually work with throughout the rest of the presentation. So if you get a referral from a non-buyer, all you have to do is help them understand, they'll be like, oh, it's the money, or, I just have to think about it, or whatever. You're like, hey, nope. Once you've already done your rebuttals and they're not going to get it, you just go, oh, no big deal. You could obviously see where this would be helpful. It's just not at the right now, right? It's like, it's not the right time. You're like, yeah, for sure. So you just help them agree that's a great product. And you just go, I mainly work based off referrals. Who are 2 or 3 people I can introduce myself to right now? That's it. And it's that simple. And you just get in the habit, and they're like, I don't know anybody. It's like, come on, you know somebody. Who should I go talk to? And they can just shake their hand. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you can get something out of every single person you sit down with, whether they buy or not. Same thing with business owners. Big deal. Thank you.
I love, Justin, the pitfalls of the different phases, especially pitfall phase 1 and phase 2, of just getting too stuck in certain niches. I think that's something that definitely people fall into quite often, and just making sure that we keep it to the fundamentals, going back to the basics checklist. Yeah. So, hey guys, any one last question for Justin?
No, but this was awesome, and I've got a ton of good notes.
All right, JE. Well, hey, man, we'll see. For those going to Puerto Rico in about a month and a half, he'll be there. Yeah, so excited to hang out with Justin and his crew. Always a great group to hang out with. They're a lot of fun. And Justin, thanks for leading from the front, man. Thanks for being on today, buddy. We do appreciate everything about you and what you do. And yeah, hopefully we're within 1/5 of what your agency does next week. So that's the goal. So on the trade more.
Love it. All right. You guys have a good day.
Thanks, Justin.
Cheers. Thanks, Justin.